September miracles are real. Are you ready to receive yours? Imagine money arriving in minutes, doors opening instantly, and blessings chasing after you. That's the supernatural power of the Saint Expedite prayer. The prayer for urgent needs and financial breakthroughs. Too many people delay their blessing, but you don't have to. Stay with me, because in this video you'll discover how to unlock quick answers, fast results, and divine provision. Right now, if you're ready for your miracle, like this video, subscribe for more prayers, share it with someone in need, and comment one word below, breakthrough. September is not just another month. Spiritually, it carries deep significance across different traditions. And even in biblical symbolism, September is known as a month of harvest, a month of completion, and a month of new beginnings. Think of the number 9. In the natural world, 9 represents the culmination of a cycle. A child is carried in the womb for 9 months before being birthed into the world. What was hidden for so long becomes visible. What was growing in silence suddenly bursts into manifestation. September carries this same spiritual message. It is the season when hidden blessings come to the surface, when the unseen suddenly becomes seen, and when long-awaited prayers finally mature into answers. This is why many people experience unexpected financial blessings in this season. It's not random coincidence, it's timing. God works in seasons. Farmers understand this better than anyone. A farmer doesn't plant today and harvest tomorrow. He plants, waters, nurtures, and waits. Then comes the right season, and when the harvest begins, it is unstoppable. The same is true for your financial life. You may have prayed in June. You may have sowed in July. You may have held on in August. But September is often the month when all that waiting begins to bear fruit. When we talk about Saint Expedite, we are talking about acceleration. His very name speaks of speed, of urgency, of immediacy. When his intercession meets the timing of September, the result is powerful. Think of it like 2 rivers joining into one. The current becomes stronger, faster, and more forceful. That is what happens when divine timing meets urgent faith. Timing is one of the greatest miracles. You can work harder. You can push with all your human effort. But when the time is not yet right, doors remain closed. Yet when heaven's clock strikes your hour, everything aligns at once. Phone calls come in. Approvals you've been waiting on suddenly clear. Forgotten debts are repaid. Bank errors are corrected in your favor. People remember you at the exact moment you need it most. These are not coincidences. They are signals of divine timing. Think of a woman in labor. She cannot force the baby out in month 7. She must wait until month 9 when the process is complete. But when the moment comes, nothing can stop the birth. The contractions begin, and what has been hidden must now come forth. That is how September feels in the spirit. Your financial miracle has been forming behind the scenes. You may not have seen movement, you may not have felt progress, but September is your birthing season. This is why expectancy matters. If you walk into September treating it like any other month, you can miss the harvest. But if you enter it with faith, with urgency, and with expectation, you align yourself with the season of miracles. Faith positions you to see what others overlook. Faith makes you attentive to sudden opportunities. Faith trains your eyes to recognize divine timing. In this September, don't just hope, expect. Don't just wish. Declare. Don't just pray casually. Pray with urgency. Because this is not just a month, it is your appointed season. And when divine timing aligns with your faith, money can arrive in minutes. When people first hear the name Saint Expedite, many are curious. Who was he? Why is he connected with speed? And why do so many testimonies link his name with urgent financial miracles? To understand why his prayer works so fast, we need to go back to the picture of who Saint Expedite represents. Tradition often depicts him as a Roman soldier holding a cross with the word Hodie written on it. Hodie means today. At his feet lies a crow crying, Kras, which means tomorrow. By stepping on the crow, Saint Expedite sends a clear message. Do not delay blessings until tomorrow when God can release them today. His whole symbolism is about defeating procrastination, destroying delays, and accelerating answers. Many people turn to him in moments when they cannot afford delay. Rent is due. A bill needs payment. Food must be bought. A debt collector is at the door. These are not situations where help next month will do. The answer must come now. And that is why Saint Expedite has become known as the intercessor of urgent causes. His very name carries the power of immediacy. But why does his prayer work so fast? It's not about superstition or magic. It's about the type of faith he stirs. When you pray to God through the intercession of Saint Expedite, you are not praying weakly or half-heartedly. You are praying with urgency. You are declaring boldly, Lord, I need help now. I am not pushing this miracle into tomorrow. I am pulling it into today. That urgency of faith is what moves heaven. Remember the woman in the Bible with the issue of blood. She had been suffering for 12 years. But in one urgent moment, she pressed through the crowd, touched Jesus' garment, and instantly received her healing. That was an example of Saint Expedite's spirit at work. Not in name, but in principle. Urgent, immediate, bold faith that refuses delay. Testimonies around the world echo the same pattern. A woman in Brazil prayed to Saint Expedite because she had only hours left to pay her rent. Within the same day, a forgotten refund appeared in her bank account. In the United States, a small business owner prayed when bills piled higher than profits. Within 24 hours, a long-delayed contract was finally signed, releasing funds that saved his company. In the Philippines, a man prayed when his family had no food. Minutes later, a neighbor unexpectedly brought groceries to his door. These are not coincidences. They are patterns of answered prayer, and the pattern is always the same. Urgency plus faith equals fast miracles. Saint Expedite's role is to remind us not to postpone blessings. Too many people keep saying, someday I'll be debt-free, someday I'll see increase, someday things will change. But someday is the language of the crow that cries kras. Someday keeps miracles stuck in the future. Faith that says today pulls the miracle into now. Saint Expedite embodies that urgency. His prayer works because it cuts through doubt, delay, and hesitation. It forces you to stand in bold confidence that God can and will answer quickly, and God honors that faith. Think of it this way. You're drowning in the ocean. You don't cry out, help me next week. You cry, help me now. And the lifeguard runs immediately. Urgency moves response. The same principle works spiritually when you cry out in desperation and faith. Heaven dispatches answers quickly. That's why Saint Expedite's prayer is so powerful in financial matters. Money issues are often urgent. They cannot wait for someday. Bills, rent, and food are today's needs. And God, who cares even for the lilies of the field and the sparrows in the air, surely cares for your needs today. Saint Expedite reminds us of that truth, that God is not only the God of eternity, but also the God of today. So when you pray through him, don't pray passively. Pray boldly. Say the words with urgency. Believe that before the sun sets, money can arrive. Believe that before this week ends, your financial situation can turn around. His prayer works fast because it forces you to align your faith with now, and faith that says now never goes unanswered. One of the greatest secrets to receiving a financial miracle quickly is understanding the principle of immediate faith. Faith is not just believing that God can bless you someday in the distant future. True faith is pulling that blessing into your present and saying, I believe it is happening right now. Most people pray with future faith. They say things like, I know God will bless me one day. I know things will improve eventually. I trust that maybe in the coming months, my life will change. That sounds spiritual, but it's weak faith. It postpones your miracle. It's like telling God, I don't need your help today. You can send it later. But urgent needs cannot wait for later. Immediate faith, on the other hand, says, God, I believe my breakthrough is already on the way. I believe money is moving toward me now. I believe favor is knocking at my door today. That kind of faith attracts quick answers. Think about how you order something online. Once you click purchase, you don't keep asking the store if they really sent it. You don't panic and call them every 5 minutes. You trust the process. You know the package is already in motion, and you simply expect the knock on your door. That's immediate faith. It doesn't question if the miracle is coming. It positions itself to receive it. Now, Jesus himself taught this principle. He said in Mark 11:24, "What things soever you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them, and you shall have them." Notice the tense. Believe that you receive them. Not tomorrow, not in the distant future. Right now, the moment you pray, believe you have it. That's immediate faith. This is why Saint Expedite's intercession is so powerful. He represents urgency, acceleration, and quick answers. He reminds us not to push blessings into the future, but to call them into the present. When you pray through him, you're not saying, Lord, bless me one day. You're saying, Lord, I need it now. I believe it now. I receive it now. That shift in mindset is what brings miracles fast. Let me share a story. A young man in debt prayed every night for months, asking God to someday send financial help. Nothing changed. But one day, after hearing about Saint Expedite, he prayed differently. He said, Lord, I believe the money is already coming. I thank you that today you are moving on my behalf. Within 2 hours, he received a phone call about a freelance job that paid him more than he had asked for. What changed? Not God's willingness, but his mindset. He moved from future faith to immediate faith. This is also why urgency matters. Imagine you're drowning. You don't shout, save me tomorrow. You cry, save me now. And the lifeguard responds instantly. In the same way, when you cry out to God with urgent faith, heaven responds swiftly. The enemy loves to keep you in the land of someday. He whispers, yes, God will bless you, but not now. Be patient. Maybe next year. Maybe when the time is right. But that's delay. That's procrastination in disguise. Immediate faith rejects delay. It declares, this is my season. This is my hour. This is my miracle moment. Here's the key. Immediate faith doesn't mean you see the money instantly in your hand. It means you believe so strongly that you act like it's already on the way. You thank God in advance. You prepare space for the blessing. You expect your phone to ring. You check your account with anticipation. That expectancy itself opens the door for miracles. When you pray the prayer of Saint Expedite, don't just recite words, fill them with immediate faith. Say it as though the miracle is already unfolding. Visualize money arriving in your bank account. Imagine doors of opportunity opening today. Feel the relief of debts being cleared. Believe that heaven is already in motion. Because faith is not waiting passively. Faith is receiving actively. And the moment you shift from maybe later to right now, you step into the realm of immediate miracles. One of the biggest reasons people pray and yet don't see fast results is because unseen blockages are standing in the way of their blessing. Imagine a river flowing strongly downstream. That's how God's blessings are designed to reach you. Constant, abundant, unstoppable. But what happens if rocks fall on trees and debris block the river? The flow slows down. It doesn't mean the water isn't there. It means something is obstructing it. In the same way, financial miracles are real. Money is flowing from heaven's storehouse, and Saint Expedite intercedes to speed it up. But if blockages exist in your spirit, your mind, or your life, you'll experience delays. The miracle is ready, but the channel is blocked. What are these blockages? The first blockage is doubt when you pray but secretly think, what if nothing happens? What if this doesn't work? You block the flow. Fear does the same. It paralyzes expectation. Faith attracts miracles, but fear repels them. The Bible says in James 1-6-7 that the one who doubts should not expect to receive anything. That's how serious this blockage is. Think about a man who plants seeds, but digs them up every day to check if they're growing. His impatience destroys the harvest. That's what doubt does to your prayer. You must clear this blockage by replacing doubt with certainty, fear with faith, and worry with trust. Another blockage is holding grudges. If your heart is heavy with resentment, it slows the flow of blessings. Jesus said in Mark 11:25 that when you stand praying, you must forgive, so your prayers will not be hindered. Bitterness poisons your spirit and shuts doors. Forgiveness clears the channel. When you release others, you make space for blessings to reach you faster. Your tongue can either open or block the heavens. Many people pray for miracles, but then cancel their prayers with negative speech. They say, I'll never make it. Money never comes my way. Nothing ever works out for me. These words are powerful. They build walls against your own blessings. Saint Expedite represents quick action. But if your words contradict your prayers, you slow the miracle. Clearing this blockage means speaking life, declaring abundance, and aligning your tongue with your faith. Instead of complaining, say, my blessing is coming. Money is arriving now. Opportunities are opening for me today. Gratitude is a magnet for miracles, but ingratitude blocks them. If you focus only on what's missing, you blind yourself to what God is already doing. Gratitude turns your attention to abundance and multiplies what you already have. That's why even before the miracle arrives, you must thank God for it. When you express gratitude, you clear away the blockage of lack and prepare your spirit to receive quickly. Even in the physical world, clutter can block flow. If your finances are messy, unpaid bills, debts ignored, lack of structure, it creates spiritual blockages. God blesses order, clearing your space, organizing your finances, and being a good steward clears the channel for money to flow. Saint Expedite works with speed, but he also works through clarity. Let me tell you a story. A woman prayed urgently for financial help but felt stuck. Every time she expected money, something delayed it. She later realized her home was filled with piles of unpaid bills, dusty old clothes, and clutter everywhere. She decided to clean, organize, and clear her space while praying the Saint Expedite prayer. Within a week, unexpected money came through an old client who had owed her for months. Clearing the blockages physically and spiritually opened the flow. How to clear the blockages: repent quickly of doubt and unbelief. Forgive freely to release bitterness, speak positively. Aligning your words with your prayers, thank daily for every little provision. Organize intentionally to show readiness for more. When you do these things, you prepare yourself for Saint Expedite's speed. The money that seemed delayed suddenly finds no resistance. It arrives like lightning. The truth is, heaven's supply has never stopped. It's flowing constantly. But when you clear the blockages, you step under the waterfall of God's abundance. Suddenly, prayers that once felt delayed now arrive in minutes. If there is one key that can unlock the doors of heaven faster than almost anything else, it is the power of gratitude. Gratitude is not just saying thank you politely. It is a spiritual magnet that pulls blessings toward you. Where there is genuine gratitude, miracles flow quickly, effortlessly, and abundantly. Many people pray for financial breakthroughs with desperation, but forget to express thanks for what they already have. They look at their empty wallet and cry, Lord, I need more. But they fail to notice the roof over their head, the breath in their lungs, the food on their table. This ingratitude blocks the flow of miracles. Gratitude, on the other hand, multiplies blessings. Think about the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000. He had only 5 loaves and 2 fish. Instead of complaining that it wasn't enough, he looked up to heaven and gave thanks. Gratitude transformed lack into overflow. The small portion multiplied to feed thousands with baskets left over. That's what happens when gratitude enters the equation. Scarcity turns into abundance. Gratitude does 3 powerful things in your financial life. When you are grateful, you stop obsessing over what you don't have and start noticing what you already do. This shift changes your vibration, your mindset, and your expectation. The universe responds to focus. If you focus on lack, you attract more lack. If you focus on abundance, you attract more abundance. Gratitude repositions your focus so you can draw blessings quickly. Imagine someone giving you a small gift. If you respond with joy, appreciation, and thanks, they feel inspired to give you more. But if you act ungrateful, complaining it wasn't enough, they hesitate. The same happens spiritually. Heaven loves a thankful heart and responds to it with speed. Gratitude is like a seed. Every time you say, "Thank you, Lord, for what I have," you water that seed. Soon it multiplies into a tree of provision. That's why people who constantly complain stay stuck, while those who remain thankful seem to always have more coming their way. Saint Expedite represents quick provision, but his speed works best with gratitude. When you thank God for even the smallest financial blessing, a coin found on the street, a small payment, a discount, you are telling heaven, "I'm ready for more." And more comes, often faster than you expect. Gratitude is a declaration of faith. When you thank God in advance for blessings you haven't yet seen, you demonstrate immediate faith. You say, "Lord, I may not see the money yet, but I thank you because I believe it's already on the way." That combination of gratitude and faith is explosive. It speeds up miracles. Let me share a testimony. A woman was struggling to pay her rent. Instead of panicking, she began a practice of daily gratitude. Every morning, she thanked God for her health, her children, her meals, and even for the rent she believed would be paid. Within days, an old friend called to return money he had borrowed years ago, the exact amount she needed for rent. Gratitude unlocked her miracle. Another story. A man who prayed to Saint Expedite started writing down 10 things he was grateful for every night. He didn't just list big things. He included small blessings like a warm meal, a stranger's smile, or even a safe journey home. Within weeks, unexpected money flowed into his account from a business deal that had been stuck for months. Gratitude cleared the energy, and the money finally arrived. How to practice gratitude daily: start your prayers with thanks. Before asking for money, thank God for what you already have. Keep a gratitude journal. Write down 5 faithful things daily that you're thankful for. Speak gratitude out loud. Say, "Thank you, Lord, for this miracle," even before it shows up. Celebrate small wins. Don't dismiss little blessings. Honor them. Thank Saint Expedite. Whenever you pray his prayer, promise to spread his name with gratitude once your blessing arrives. Gratitude is not a ritual, it is a lifestyle. The more you practice it, the more miracles speed toward you. Money that was delayed suddenly finds its way into your hands. Opportunities that seemed locked suddenly open. Favor that was hidden suddenly shines on you. Remember this: gratitude doesn't just wait for blessings, it creates them. It is a spiritual law that whatever you appreciate multiplies. If you want your miracle in September to arrive in minutes, let gratitude be your constant companion. Every saint in spiritual tradition carries a unique grace, a divine assignment that makes their intercession distinct. Some saints are known for healing, others for wisdom, others for protection. But Saint Expedite is known as the messenger of speed. He is the patron of urgent causes, the one who brings quick solutions when delay feels unbearable. Why does this matter? Because financial needs are often urgent. Bills don't wait. Debts don't pause. Families can't postpone meals. When you're desperate for money, you don't need a blessing that arrives someday. You need it now. That's where Saint Expedite steps in. His very name means quick, urgent, without delay. The story of Saint Expedite, according to tradition. Saint Expedite was a Roman soldier who decided to give his life to Christ. The moment he resolved to follow God, a crow appeared, symbolizing procrastination, whispering, "Tomorrow, tomorrow." But Expedite crushed the crow underfoot and declared, "Today, not tomorrow." That single decision sealed his mission, to help those who need immediate answers. That same spirit continues today. When you call upon Saint Expedite in urgent financial need, you're inviting his heavenly grace of quick intervention. He intercedes before God with urgency. His role is not to replace faith in God, but to amplify speed, to accelerate the arrival of what heaven has already released. Why speed matters in miracles, delay can be dangerous. Proverbs 13:12 says, "Hope deferred makes the heart sick." Waiting endlessly for breakthrough can weaken your faith and crush your spirit. That's why God, in His mercy, allows certain prayers to be answered quickly. He knows that sometimes speed itself is the miracle. For example, imagine a man whose electricity bill is due in 2 days. If financial help arrives next month, it's too late. He needs urgent provision. Saint Expedite's role is to ensure prayers like this receive immediate attention. He represents divine acceleration. What should take weeks or months can happen in hours or days. Real life testimonies of speed money believers testify of money arriving within hours of praying to Saint Expedite. Some receive unexpected bank deposits. Others find forgotten checks. Some get urgent job calls or clients suddenly paying old debts. What makes these stories powerful is not just the money, it's the timing. The help arrives exactly when it's needed, no sooner and no later. I once heard about a single mother struggling with her child's school fees. She prayed Saint Expedite's prayer with urgency and faith. Within 24 hours, a distant relative she hadn't spoken to in years called and offered to cover the fees. The timing was perfect. That's the hallmark of Saint Expedite. Speed with precision. The symbol of the crow. The crow in his story still carries meaning today. It represents delay, procrastination, excuses. The voice that says, "Tomorrow." How many of us have postponed our faith with that same voice? We say, "Maybe next month I'll believe. Maybe later I'll pray harder. Maybe when things improve, I'll trust more." That's the crow speaking. But Saint Expedite reminds us that the time for faith is not tomorrow. It's today. He crushes delay and ushers in urgency. How to align with his speed? Pray with urgency. Don't pray as though you have endless time. Be specific. Be bold. Be now focused. Offer gratitude immediately. Saint Expedite loves promises of thanksgiving. Spread his name when your blessing comes. Reject procrastination. Take action quickly when opportunities arrive. Miracles come fast, but you must be ready to move fast too. Declare, "Today, not tomorrow." Use his words to remind yourself that blessings belong in the present, not in the distant future. Saint Expedite's spiritual role, think of him as the courier of heaven. When God releases a package of blessing, Saint Expedite ensures it doesn't get stuck in spiritual shipping delays. He delivers with speed. But here's the secret. His speed works best when your heart is open, your faith is immediate, and your gratitude is sincere. If you've been struggling with endless delays in money matters, Know this: God has not forgotten you. Saint Expedite's role as the messenger of speed is proof that heaven cares about timing. Your September miracle doesn't have to wait until December. With urgency, faith, and His intercession, money can truly arrive in minutes at the exact moment you need it. Nothing builds faith like real stories. You can hear about prayer, you can study principles, but when you witness miracles happening in real lives, it stirs something inside you. It makes you say, if it happened for them, it can happen for me. That's the beauty of testimonies. They are not just stories. They are evidence that Saint Expedite truly works as a messenger of speed. Let me share with you some powerful accounts where money arrived not in weeks, not in days, but literally in minutes after prayer. A young man had been struggling with overdue rent. His landlord gave him a final warning. He had only 1 day left to pay. That night, he prayed the Saint Expedite prayer with tears and urgency. Instead of asking timidly, he declared, "I believe it is done. I thank you for money arriving now." Within 2 hours, his phone buzzed. An old client who hadn't spoken to him in months sent him a payment with a simple note. "Just remembered I owed you this." The amount was exactly enough to cover the rent. For him, this wasn't coincidence. It was the miracle of speed. A widow had only a few dollars left. She was worried about feeding her children. She prayed to Saint Expedite for immediate help. Just minutes later, her neighbor knocked on the door with a bag full of groceries, saying, "I bought extra and thought of you." She wept because she knew it wasn't just kindness. It was divine timing. Money didn't come directly, but provision did instantly. This shows us something important. Miracles don't always arrive as cash. Sometimes they come as food, discounts, opportunities, or sudden favor. The key is the timing. It comes exactly when you need it. Another man prayed to Saint Expedite because his car broke down and he needed repair money urgently. Within half an hour, while searching for documents in his drawer, he stumbled upon an old check he had completely forgotten about. The bank still honored it, and it covered his repair costs perfectly. He realized the money had been in his house all along, waiting for him to unlock it through prayer. One woman who worked online had clients who often delayed payments for weeks. One evening, she prayed, "Saint Expedite, I need my money today. Please move this delay." Within 15 minutes, one of her clients, who hadn't paid for months, suddenly messaged, apologizing for the delay, and transferred the full payment immediately. That same night, she spread his name in gratitude, keeping her promise to honor him. Testimonies are powerful because they do two things. They glorify God and honor the messenger of speed, Saint Expedite. They ignite faith in others. When you hear about miracles happening in someone else's life, your own faith rises to believe it can happen for you. Revelation 12:11 says, "They overcame by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony." Your testimony is a weapon. When you share it, you spread hope, and when you listen to it, you build faith. Lessons from these stories: God uses unexpected channels. Old clients, forgotten checks, neighbors. Miracles often come from places you least expect. Timing is the miracle. The common thread in every testimony is that the provision came exactly when needed. Not later, faith and gratitude opened the door. Each story involved prayer filled with urgency and followed by thanksgiving. Your testimony is next. Don't just listen to these stories as entertainment. Listen to them as prophecy. If it happened to them, it can happen to you. Saint Expedite doesn't choose favorites. He responds to urgency, faith, and gratitude. If you need money, now pray his prayer with conviction. Don't delay. Don't doubt. Expect it to arrive swiftly. And when it does, honor him by sharing your testimony. That's how the cycle continues. Faith produces miracles, miracles produce testimonies, and testimonies produce more faith. Maybe today Maybe even in the next few minutes, your story will be the next testimony. Prayer is not just repeating words. It is aligning your heart, your faith, and your urgency with heaven. When you pray to Saint Expedite for financial help, it is not about superstition. It is about positioning yourself for divine speed. This prayer is powerful because it combines urgency, gratitude, and faith. But to experience its full impact, you must know how to pray it. Before you pray, prepare your environment, light a candle if you can, or simply find a quiet corner. The candle represents light, clarity, and focus. Saint Expedite is often symbolized with a red candle, but any light will do if your heart is sincere. This sacred space signals to your spirit that something important is about to happen. Vague prayers create vague results. Instead of saying, "I need money," be specific. Say, "I need $500 by Friday to pay my rent." Or, "I need immediate provision to cover my bills this week." Saint Expedite responds to clear and urgent petitions. Specificity shows urgency, and urgency attracts speed. When you speak the prayer, don't mumble it without feeling. Pray with passion, as if your entire life depends on it. This urgency is what connects with Saint Expedite's spirit of quickness. Say the words as though the miracle is already happening. Visualize money flowing into your account, debts being cleared, and opportunities opening before you. One of the most important aspects of Saint Expedite's prayer is making a promise. Traditionally, those who receive his help spread his name in thanksgiving. This could mean telling others about your miracle, writing down your testimony, or giving public thanks. Gratitude is the condition of speed. When you honor him, you keep the flow open for future blessings. After you pray, don't sit back passively. Expect the miracle. Check your messages with faith. Open your email. Look for opportunities. Be ready to act when the blessing comes. Many people miss their miracle because they pray, but don't prepare to receive. Faith without action is incomplete. Saint Expedite works fast, but you must also move fast when the door opens. As you wait, don't contradict your prayer with negative talk. Don't say, "Nothing is happening. This isn't working." That cancels the flow. Instead, speak life. "My blessing is arriving now. Money is on the way. God is providing through Saint Expedite's intercession." Your words keep the atmosphere charged with faith. A story of step by step prayer. Let me share how one woman applied this process. She had a debt due in 2 days. She lit a candle, cleared her space, and prayed with urgency. "Saint Expedite, I need $300 by Wednesday. Please intercede with speed." She promised to share his name in gratitude. After praying, she checked her email and found a notification. An old refund from a company she had forgotten about. The exact amount was $312, arriving in her account instantly. She kept her promise and told everyone about the miracle. Notice the pattern: clarity, urgency, gratitude, expectation, and action. That's the formula of Saint Expedite's prayer. Keys to remember: be specific. Vague prayers delay answers. Be urgent, pray, as though it's now, not someday. Be grateful. Promise, thanks, and fulfill it. Be expectant. Act like the money is already on the way. Be faithful. Share your testimony when the miracle comes. Why this prayer works? This prayer works because it aligns 3 powerful forces: your faith, believing it now; your gratitude, honoring the blessing before and after it arrives; Saint Expedite's speed, accelerating heaven's response. When these 3 combine, miracles often happen in minutes. Money that seemed delayed suddenly moves. Opportunities that were closed suddenly open. Unexpected channels deliver exactly what you need, right on time. If you are in urgent need today, don't postpone. Pray Saint Expedite's prayer with faith and urgency. Clear your space. Declare your need. Visualize the result, promise your gratitude, and act in expectation. The same God who used Saint Expedite to crush procrastination will use him to crush delays in your finances. Remember his words, today, not tomorrow. When you pray with that spirit, your September miracle can truly arrive in minutes.